To the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is set it and forget it. It's kind of, we're going to be talking about the art of manifestation and how really you set the intention and then let go. Maybe not forget it, but set it and forget it. Before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, all your molecules, your electrons, and creating a brilliant beam of light from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together and vigorously rub those palms together and feel the friction, the temperature, the pressure. And when you stop, feel the tickling and the tingling, and allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables you to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so good to be here with you this morning. Good morning, Rosalind. Good morning and good evening, Gia. It's wonderful to be here with you and with everyone else who's joining us. And today's topic is set it and forget it. And so Rosalind says planting seeds. I like that a lot because, you know, that with, I guess we don't want to forget them when we plant them. We want to water them. But, you know, the impatience of, is it going to grow? Is it going to grow? Is it going to grow? That's not going to help it by any means. And that's really the case when we do manifesting work, is that what we get to do, what's really effective to do, is to set an intention, often with an emotion of joy or excitement, positive emotion, hopefully, because it works the other way too. And then just let it go. Just let it go. And what that means is not one of my clients has this word that they use a lot, perturbating, meaning I don't know if you've ever heard the word perturbed. It's sort of annoyed, and perturbating over something is just like chewing on it and chewing on it and chewing on it, all, you know, like endlessly worrying, kind of. And so when we have an intention and we can just set it and let it go and not be attached to it, then we leave room for it to show up. So set it and forget it is kind of the idea that we're talking about today. And I'm wondering where you may have seen that happen in your life. So you might see it where you set an intention and then notice a little bit down the road that you're taking the actions that you needed to take without muscling yourself into doing that, without pressing yourself, without efforting, where things just start unfolding. And so I don't know if this is a really good example or not, but it's kind of a fun one. I love it when stuff like this happens. So and it's a little embarrassing to admit, okay, but anyway, I'm still gonna tell you because I think it's funny and cool. So I've been getting more into doing artwork lately with encaustic medium, which is colored wax. I had shown you guys some of it, like I think probably pre-COVID or early in COVID. Anyway, I just sort of really recommitted or committed to it and bought some equipment and have been setting up my office so that it's more conducive to being able to do the artwork that I want to do. And so one of the things that I did was I bought an exhaust fan because there are fumes that get released when you have hot wax and the color pigments and using a heat gun and melting stuff, and so there's fumes, and just for wellness and safety it's important to have an exhaust fan, which I didn't have. So I invested in an exhaust fan, and the exhaust fan requires certain electric capacity, and the place that I live is kind of it's an older apartment, and the electrical system here is kind of like a combination lock where I have to turn something off in one room and before I turn it on in another. And so I was facing the prospect of trying to get new electrical stuff and trying to figure out how I was going to navigate this with my landlady. And so meantime, in the quest to set up my studio here, it all is going to make sense in a couple minutes. I have this intention of setting up the studio. I have this intention of being able to have the safety that I need and the electrical support and whatever. And so I had this corner of my office, which is also my studio, that was just filled with stuff. And I have been having this intention to clear things out, and I've actually started doing that. And in the process of clearing things out, I was able to look behind a piece of furniture that I haven't looked behind. And it turned out that there was an outlet there that works so that I can do what I need to do with the fan. And I don't have to buy new electrical equipment or negotiate getting additional outlets or anything like that. And so I've been here for a really long time and wasn't aware of that outlet for a really long time. And in out of setting the intention to set up this studio, I discovered that outlet, and things are just flowing and supporting my intention in ways that I wouldn't have imagined. It was kind of go left to go right. Like here, I was just sort of cleaning things out and trying to make my space more workable, and bam, what happens? I find what I needed, and it saves me a lot of time, money, and aggravation. So that was just a beautiful thing around intention. Having that intention, somehow things orchestrated to support me in ways that I would not have even imagined. So that was just a really fun example. I'm wondering if you have any examples like that in your life where one thing leads to another. It's a seemingly unrelated thing leads to another thing, leads to another thing that comes back around and gives you something, gives you support for an intention that you had while you were not really attached to it. So I imagine you must have examples of that. So even like this year has been really interesting because this is the first full year that I gave myself my new work schedule, which is where I have my coaching cohort for 3 months, and then I take a month break, and then I have 3 months and I take a month break, and that's how it goes. And it serves me and it serves my clients, the clients that continue, because the work is really intense and gives them some time to integrate. And where it came from was having worked a year solid doing the coaching work and then just barely being able to cross the New Year mark with with any energy at all. And I had declared that I was going to take a month off, and that January I was a vegetable. And I realized that the way that I was doing things wasn't sustainable. So I came up with this radical idea. It was really radical for me at the time. Like, who takes 3 months off a year? At least in the United States, right? And but I did it, and then this year has been the first year that I've actually done that, and it's been my best year ever in terms of finances and building the practice, and so it's been remarkable. And that was by setting an intention to have my life be about living, not just about working. And I love my work. Don't get me wrong, I love my work, but to be able to have that intention of well-being, self-care, contribution, to have it all work out, and then to allow it to provide support in ways that I hadn't necessarily anticipated. So, what this tells me, what it is for me, is a positive confirmation or an affirmation, confirmation that when we follow our hearts, we follow our intuition, we set intention, and then just sort of let it go, then life supports us in all kinds of wonderful, wonderful ways. So Rosalind says, as of July 2022, employees with an alcohol license to serve in California, need to be certified as responsible beverage servers. I signed up for the certification and declared I'll have a job pouring wine. Not taken the final exam yet, but I think I might have a gig set up to help pour at festivals. Wow, Rosalind, how cool is that? Very, very, very awesome. So you had an intention, you saw an opportunity, you set an intention, you took whatever steps you could take in that direction, and there it is. That's really amazing. I've never heard of this alcohol license to be a responsible beverage server. That's wild. I've never heard of that, but it's an interesting concept. And look at you, how fun is that? Good for you. And at festivals, what a great way to be able to be at festivals. It sounds like a lot of fun. Good for you. So I'm wondering what other situations where you set an intention, there's not, you take whatever steps you need to take, but it's not trying to strong arm yourself or circumstances. It's just allowing yourself to move ahead, to engage with life, to be kind of unattached, to have an intention, but you don't have to keep worrying it. You don't have to keep messing with it. It's like, that's the intention. It's there, it's present. And then who knows how it's going to manifest, you know? Intention, like for parties. I've talked to multiple people who have been planning big parties, and the tendency initially came from a place of perfectionism, like it has to be the perfect party, everything has to be in place, it has to look like Martha Stewart did it, and everything has to be perfect. And when we discussed the idea or the contrast between intention and expectation, it shifted the whole landscape for the planning of the party and the experience of the party too. So when the party is being planned around expectation, then everything has to go exactly according to plan, right? Everything has to be in its place, everything has to be beautiful. And when instead we set an intention, it's like, what's the point of the party? Is the point of the party to impress people with your party skills, or is it to have a wonderful time and for everybody there to have a wonderful time? So by readjusting the intention and like moving from expectation to intention instead, there was an ease about the preparation for the party. There was more latitude in deciding how what the foods would be or how things would be set up. It was just a much easier environment and circumstance to be able to navigate, plus gave space for the people to enjoy themselves and create an atmosphere that was more conducive to the purpose of the party in the first place, which was to bring people together and to have enjoyment and celebrations. So that's another example of setting an intention. I mean, of course, there's stuff to do, but there's a greater ease around it. And that's a really, really important thing. So it's interesting when we set an intention, we don't necessarily know how things are going to unfold. We don't necessarily know how the intention gets met, but somehow the universe supports us on the way there, which is really quite remarkable. So Rosalind says, so set it and drop the illusions that surround the outcome. Well, set it and drop the attachment, like just set the intention. You can always reset it and recalibrate it, right? But when you're in the intention, it's not like, oh, I'm intending. That's like forcing. This is more just allowing. It's like, I have this intention, I'm gonna, do what needs doing. So Rosalind, I know you have this healing space that you've been creating, and you have this intention to have that thing emerge, and periodically things will show up that enhance that space, is what I'm getting at. That having that intention, it's going to unfold as it unfolds. So Rosalind says, forget the how and get ready for the wow. I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. So here's another example of setting an intention. And sometimes it doesn't happen on our timeline, admittedly. Okay, so about 5 years ago, I came across Dome Gaia. Dome Gaia is a company that makes aircrete domes, these beautiful, beautiful constructions for homes or whatever, and I was so intrigued. And from that moment that I saw it, I had an intention to go learn how to do it. And finally, now, 5 years later, I'm doing that in January. I had the intention, I've been holding the intention, and now things aligned, it's the right time to do it. So that's pretty amazing. I've made certain decisions in my life that now support my being able to do that, but I didn't make those decisions with that end goal in mind. I made those decisions for whatever other reasons I made. And now here that intention that I set 5 years ago is coming to fruition. How cool is that? You know, um, I think that we can, like, I have an intention for the eco park. I don't know how or when that's going to happen. And, when I've tried to make it happen, it doesn't, because I am setting up the resistance, or maybe it's just not the right time, whatever it is. But when we get in that drive mentality, I know that some people believe that you can just drive it yourself, and a lot of people are very successful with goals and kind of forcing things, pushing things. Um, but we can achieve results without having to struggle toward those results. So now what's happening in my head at the moment is, well, I have this intention going to this course that I be able to carry my own weight, probably in sort of a literal way, that. And I've been a couch potato for a couple of years here, so I'm going back to the gym, and I do push myself a bit at the gym, because I'm looking to build my strength, build my capacity, um, with an intention to be able to participate fully in this workshop. I don't want to be somebody that is not um, fully participating. So it's that intention that is allowing me to have the incentive to get myself up every morning and get to the gym. And I'll have to tell you, oh my gosh, it feels really good. My body is so much happier. It's crazy. I I have, gym type aches and pains, or, soreness a bit, but my body just feels so much more alive and vibrant. And so this other intention is feeding me in all kinds of ways to be bringing back vitality and health into my life, which is really, really cool. So, there are wonderful side effects of setting intentions as well, right? Um, but anyway, the reason I was thinking about the gym is because you want to push a bit in the gym, right? To be able to allow yourself to get to the next level. And I guess it's an art, and I don't know that I've mastered it, but I guess it's an art to find how much do you push and listen at the same time. Like, I'm very attuned if I feel a muscle straining beyond growth, but straining, I will stop. So I'm not one of these people that will work out until I can't walk. And I have this intention that my body is in shape, and I believe that intention is guiding me in doing what I'm doing to be able to become more fit. It's amazing, really, because I feel the difference just in the way that I carry my body when I walk. That I'm actually able to, like, I feel the engagement of my body as I move. It's remarkable. I know it probably sounds stupid. Well, like, yeah, but I'm so amazed. I'm so amazed. Rosalind says the forget it part. From the heart, it is felt. The next steps will follow. A song that makes you dance or cry. That's not your head, that's your heart. Direct experience. You don't need your head to feel. The mind thing thinks it doesn't feel. The actual experience is from the heart. I love it. I love it, Rosalind. So really, you know what? That's the art of setting an intention. It's like, let your head get out of the picture. The intention is in your heart, and that's what carries it forward. And that's what makes the magic in the world, is that deep connection, the alignment of spirit that aligns everything else, that goes beyond explanation oftentimes. So beautiful, beautiful observation there. The next steps will follow because you have that intention, and then this other than conscious intelligence starts guiding you in the right direction. Like, I'd had no intention yesterday or the day before of, like, dismantling all this stuff that was in my office and moving it out. I didn't set the intention and put it on a checklist to do. It's just like I just started doing it. And as I was doing it, I discovered another mess to clean up. And then that led to something else that I got to clean up, that led to another benefit, actually. And very, very interesting, just very, very interesting. And noticing how one thing leads to another when we allow ourselves to be in that flow, when we allow ourselves to let the greater intelligence that we have access to guide us. So I think that's it for today. Set it and forget it, and then follow your heart, and that will take you to the fulfillment, I think. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live here each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. Rosalind says to understand and experiencing it without clouding it. Yes, akin to how children experience the world. They don't need concepts or words. So there is a part of us that, as conditioned as we might be to concepts and words, that transcends them, and that is a whole lot more intelligent. So anyway, I invite you all to check out the other awesome programming on Enlightened World Network, EWN One with the Earth, and Enlightened World Living. And until next time, I, first of all, am so grateful to you for your openness, your authenticity, your willingness to engage in these conversations. And until next time, lots and lots and